welcome to Stay Lost with Rich. So in the last video, in one of my running videos, I talked a little bit about an adventure that I'm in the midst of planning. Say adventure, it's a micro adventure. I mentioned that in the last video. I did put a link, I'll put another link in this one. But basically, a micro adventure is something that was invented by a guy called Alistair Humphreys. If you look at his website, it sort of gives you a far better explanation and description and kind of the context than I can. But the interpretation that I've taken is that he talks about people that want to do really big adventures, really extravagant, expensive, really challenging, big costly kind of adventures. And what he talks about is those things are all great, but there is also lots of smaller adventures that people can do for themselves. And he talks about you work 9 till 5, or approximately people work 9 till 5, and he says, but there's an awful lot of time between the 5 p.m. till 9 a.m. So he came up with this concept called a micro adventure, where you leave your house. I think the rule is, or the guideline is, that it's something that you can do just from leaving your front door. So you leave your front door at 5 p.m. or thereabouts, and then you walk, or you travel, you cycle, you whatever, boat, you name it. You do something further than you would typically walk. If you go out walking the dog or walk to the shop, something further than that. And then it involves a camp of some description, a wild camp, or even just camping at a campsite, or this sort of doesn't really matter, but some sort of form of camp. He also talks about having a wild swim, I think included. I've never done. I think I've done that once, but that's not something I'd necessarily try and include. But and then you camp over. The next morning you get back, however that might be: run, cycle, walk, swim, boat, you name it. And then you get back to your house for for 9 a.m. So you've had an adventure that it's in a time frame that pretty much anybody can manage that, and it's the cost is kept low because there's it's from your front door. But anyway, so that's the concept of a micro adventure. And what I wanted to do is I've done a few of those. I've done a half a dozen of those sorts of things. And what I wanted to do is do another one of those, film it and put it on my channel. But I also wanted to include some element of running. So I'm going to do a run. Well, actually, it'll be a walk, a train, a run, then a camp, and then a run / walk, hike back the next day. So I've put this video together to sort of show you, walk you through the kit that I've decided to take, and then the second part of the video, I'll bring up a map and I'll show you the route. And then I'm planning to do this within the next 2 weeks or so. I've got a bit of a window. I've got the Nottingham half marathon beginning of August. So I want to kind of keep that week of just concentrating on just some light runs. So it'll be the week before that. So that kind of leads me next week or the week after, I think. If I don't manage to get it in those 2 weeks, then I will be doing it in September, because I'm away for a couple of weeks end of August. So I will, if I don't get it done in the next week or two, then it will be sometime in September. But either way, I'll get it done. So I'll now just spin my camera around and I'll take you through the kit I'm taking, and then I might weigh it and just see, out of interest, what that comes out as. Try to keep it pretty minimal, because I'll be going in the evening after I've eaten, so I won't need any food for the evening. I might just take a few small snacks or something, And then the next morning, I might just take like a breakfast bar or something like that, something really light that I can just eat without having to cook or boil or heat any water. So I don't need any cooking equipment. I can just eat, breakfast bar or packet of peanuts or something like that. So yeah. Right, so I'll go through the kit in some kind of logical order. I'll start with the stuff that I'll be running with. So trainers, these are the On Cloud Surfer, I think they are. First time I've had On running trainers, but I've had these probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, and 400 kilometers or something, still look okay. So, well, plenty of life left in them. So I'll be running in those. I'll usually run in a pair of shorts. These just some Brooks shorts, t-shirt, and then some socks, just some short running socks. Sunglasses, if it's sunny, obviously. If it's overcast, I won't be bothering with those. And then I always tend to run with headphones in. These are just Apple AirPods. Kind of want to try out some bone conductor headphones, because I find that those are brilliant, sound quality excellent, but they block, even without noise cancelling, they block out quite a lot of sound. So for running, obviously if you've got traffic, cars coming up behind you, etc., then it's not ideal. So I might, well, not for this, I'm going to keep them for now, but I'll be interested. If anyone's got any kind of experience with bone conductor headphones or running specifically with them, any kind of recommendation. So I'm kind of willing to try something different. Okay, moving on from that's kind of what I'll be wearing. I've got a rucksack that I'll be carrying all this kit in, which is a Diamondback small. I think it's it says Bullet 16 on it, so I'm assuming it's 16 litres. Just got one main pocket and a smaller pocket at the front just for phone or whatever. So this probably not the lightest of packs, but it's the one I've got. Everything else I've got that is probably lighter is bigger, and this is just nice. And it's got a waist strap, it's got a chest strap. So I'm hoping it'll all fit in here. So I haven't tried yet. So I'll go through the kit and then I'll pack it all in, and you can wait and see whether it fits. If it doesn't fit, I have got bigger packs, but they are considerably bigger. So yeah, but anyway, so we'll see in a minute whether that all fits. While I'm my camera equipment, so I've got a little Osmo stick with which converts into a tripod, so I'll just take that. It's pretty light, and then I've got the Osmo Action 5, which I'll do all the filming on. So I usually run with that attached to the selfie stick, put it in my pocket, and then I can set it up and do some time lapses or whatever. I've also got, the battery life is pretty impressive. I've got a couple of other batteries. I don't know, I'll probably take both, because it'll be a nightmare if it goes flat. So yeah, it's got one in it and I've got 2 here. So 3 batteries should be more than enough. Other electronics, I've got my iPhone. It's just in a quad lock case for when I go out on my motorbike, but it usually lives in that, so I'll take that. My phone, I won't really need my phone. I know the route. We'll have the route on Ordnance Survey, on the Ordnance Survey app, which is, the maps are downloaded offline. So I'll probably keep my phone in airplane mode for most of certainly while I'm out running. And I'll just have that in case I get lost, which hopefully won't happen. But you know, if I do, that's also a good thing for the channel. Head torch, little black diamond head torch, just takes one. I think it's a AA. Not too sure. No, 2 AAAs. There we go. So weighs very little, not massively bright, but you know, enough to be able to see what you're doing. Setting up your camp, etc. Right, so that's what I'm wearing. That's electronics, and then sleeping kit. So I've got a Thermarest Neo Air. I've got several different options for sleeping mats. This one is, I think it's the standard width. It might be, I think it's the longer length one, because I'm 6'2", 189 centimeters, I think that is. And it really irritates me when my feet hang off the bottom of the air mat. So I always tend to go for the longer ones. I do actually prefer the wide as well, just because I turn around in sleep and roll over and stuff, and I'm forever falling off the thing. So I usually go for a wide, but I used this one last weekend. I've had this for a few years, I should add, but I used it last weekend on a camp, and I didn't fall off the thing, and that was okay. So, and this is quite light. I will weigh all of the kit as one at the end. So that's my sleeping mat. This is just a piece of, it's one of the emergency bivy bags that you sort of pick up from, well, they're usually in a first aid kit or something like that, but I get these off, I think, eBay usually, and then I just cut them open, so it's one sheet, and that'll just be my ground sheet. So it's pretty strong stuff. It's waterproof. They last surprisingly a long time. It's probably 2 or 3 years old. It's probably been out on, I don't know, a dozen camps. Just been put out in the heather or on the ground, on the grass. Get occasional puncture holes in it, like this one's got a few holes in it, but just keeps your mat reasonably dry and clean, and also an element of protection from puncturing your mat. So I use that. This packs down really small, and they cost like £1 or so each or something. And so they're kind of disposable. But like I say, I've had quite a few uses out of that, quite a few camps. So that is my ground sheet, and then I've got an Alp kit cloak bivy bag. Probably won't sleep in this unless it is either, obviously starts to rain, which I've thought about the weather side of things. If it's, I'm going to do it in the dry. If I was going to go out knowing that there's going to be some rain, I'd probably take a tarp. Well, I would take a tarp, and that means I've got to then take poles or some sort of tarp pegs, poles set up, which adds a load of weight. So I'm going to do it with the dry forecast, but I will take this because it doesn't weigh much. It's pretty small, it's most full of air, but it's pretty small, and it just means that even if it's dry, but if there's conditions that mean that there'll be a lot of dew the next morning, I'll put this over, at least over my sort of legs and torso, just to keep that off my sleeping bag. So that's my bivy bag. A really good bit of kit actually. I've not long had this. I've had other Alp kit. I had the Hunker XL, I think it was, bivy bag, which I've given to my brother. But that bivy bag was brilliant because it was large enough to be able to get your mat and a sleeping bag inside. A bit of a squeeze, but it does fit. This also will take that Thermarest and a sleeping bag, but it's tighter than the Hunker. So I've tried both. I think it works better if it's just your sleeping bag and you're on top of your mat. You've then got the issue with the two things slipping around, so you tend to slide off it. But Anyway, so I will be taking this. I didn't get any condensation on the inside last weekend when I used it, so that's clearly the breathability specs are accurate. So I'll be taking that. And then I've got just a beanie woolly hat. My sleeping bag hasn't got a hood, so I tend to put that over my head. Obviously it keeps you a bit warm, but it also sort of keeps things away from your ears, waking you up, flies and whatever. So it's sort of just a bit of comfort. And then I've got a pillow, bit of a luxury item, arguably not necessary because I've got my pack, so I could use that as a bit of a pillow. But this thing, it's a Cedar Summit Eros pillow. I've had this for a long time, 6 or 7 years, maybe 5, somewhere, certainly more than 5 years anyway. It's still got bits of grass from last weekend when I used it, but yeah, really comfortable. It's got kind of a fabric outer that's kind of built in with the plastic on the inside. So yeah, I'll be taking that. I kind of think that it's not worth scrimping in terms of weight for comfort when you sleep, especially if you're on a multi-day hike, expedition, camp. You'll suffer over, within a few days of not getting proper sleep. So whilst I kind of agree on the whole go light sort of ethos, sleeping comfortably is kind of up there in the top sort of 3 or 4 things in terms of having water, food, warmth, being able to stay dry and being able to sleep. So that's my pillow. Okay, water. This is new. I've had the bee-free versions of these for years and been excellent. I had Soya Mini when they first came out. Don't know how long ago that was, maybe 10 years ago. And then, excuse me. Then I went from the Soya Mini to the bigger Soya. I forget what it's called, because the flow rate was much better. It was, you have to squeeze, not quite so hard to get water through. And then I went on to the bee-free, which looks identical to this. I think they're blue. And yeah, they're just so much better in terms of flow rate. I don't get any blockages, whereas the Soya ones I've had to mess around with back flushing them because they've had bits of sediment in them. But these things, I've never tried this particular brand. This is by Pure Clear. So the bee-free that I had for well beyond the kind of the spec that they say, how many litres of water or how long. I had the bee-free for 3 or 4 years, lots and lots of water through it, through the sort of murky water from the sort of deepest, darkest Kinder Scout across Scotland, etc. And then so it finally started to go a bit grubby, and the flow rate had gone right down. So I bought a new one. These were, in fact, the bee-free was out of stock. These were on offer, I believe. I think it's about £25. So I'll be trying this out. I'm hoping that it's just exactly the same as the bee-free flow rate, etc. But yeah, I've never had any problems. So yeah, interesting to see how that performs. I've got a couple of energy gels, or 3 energy gels. I'm not sure if I'll take all 3. Might just take a couple, but they're for obviously just to give me a bit of a boost when I'm running along the trail. And then the last couple of bits. So I've got a compression dry bag, Cedar Summit. It's a vent waterproof bag. This is the extra small size. I've got 2 of these. I've got the this one works well with my sort of autumn, spring, summer sleeping bag. I've got a couple of different sleeping bags. So I use this one for the sort of the lighter weight bags. And then I've got the larger version. I think it might be either large or extra large. It's exactly the same, it's just a bigger size for my winter sleeping bag. So that's that. And then finally, I've got a Katabatic gear. I think I'm going to say it's called Flex 30 Fahrenheit, and this is a wide 6'6" with 900 fill down in it. Not sure what the weight of the down is. Probably 200 or 300 grams. Complete overkill for what I need for this time of year in the UK, but it's the smallest one I've got. This is what I tend to use sort of spring, autumn, spring, and summer. I've got a synthetic bag that I have used in the summer. It's a little bit lighter than this, but it doesn't compress down as small, and it's heavier. So I'm taking this, although it's going to be a little bit too warm, it is smaller and lighter. And also I'm not taking any warm kit. So in the evening, if it does drop cooler, I've only got my t-shirt and my shorts on. I've not got a fleece or anything like that. I've just got my hat to put on. So I'll use this, this is a quilt. I'll just wrap this around my shoulders. So this is kind of like my warm kit, if you like, and my sleeping bag / quilt. This one has got, it's one of the ones that the bottom sort of quarter can zip together. So you can zip the bottom quarter together, and you can close the end, and then it's got some straps around it that you can then fasten around your mat. But I tend to just use it as a quilt. And if you are too warm, which I'm sure I will be, you can just stick a leg out to cool yourself down, or it's a little bit less restrictive than a sleeping bag. So yeah, I'll be taking that. Right, so I'm going to pack all this up, and fingers crossed it all fits in that little bag. Right, back in a sec. Right, so that's all packed. So I've got my shorts, t-shirt, trainers, sunglasses, like I say, only if it's sunny, socks, it's those, and then all just about went in that little 16 litre bag with my, and I'll carry the Osmo Action 5. I'll run with that. That's what, in the last few videos, I have sort of taken a running jacket vest that I can just put water and this in the chest pocket, but it's a bit of a faff getting in and out. So most of the time I just run with it in my hand. So yeah, so that's the kit. If I think of anything else, there's no space in this bag now. That's completely full. The only trade-off I've got at the moment is that the water bottle goes in, but obviously it's got no water in it. And I've got no other way of carrying it when it's full. So I'll have to check out the water stop situation. If there's plenty of water places, I pick up water, then it won't matter because I can just drink, empty it out, put it back in my bag, and then just keep stopping and filling it up, drinking and putting it away again. So that's fine, I can live with that. So yeah, so that's the kit. And I'll now go to part 2, which will be the description of the route. Okay, back in a second. I've had a think about the bag and the idea of not being able to have water easily sort of in my pocket as I'm running. If that's not available to me, then I think that's going to do my head in. So I am going to switch bags. So the other option I've got is this, which is a Heiberg bag. It's in DCF material. I don't know how many litres it is, probably about 30 It's the kind of bag that I use for wild camping the most. I think it's perfect for anything that's doesn't require to carry masses and masses of food. I think I can get all my kind of, even my winter gear will fit in this bag. The reason that I would take a bigger bag is if I had to carry multiple days worth of food and fuel and things like that. So if I'm just going for 24 hours, 48 hours, this bag is more than adequate for my kit. So I'll repack my kit in here, and then you can see what it looks like. This has got some pockets on the shoulder straps, one on either side, stretchy one, so I can get the water bottle. The Osmo Action 5 will fit in one of these as well, and it's also got pockets on the side, so it's just a little bit more practical. So right, be right back. Right, that's the Heiberg pack, with all the kit in. So it's got a roll top, it's fully rolled down. It could probably go a bit further, but it's the maximum it will roll down. I've just got my few things in the side pockets. Everything else is in the main pocket, and then on the shoulder straps, got the water bottle, and I've just put my phone in the other one. So yeah, that will do, I think. I'll weigh it in this bag, and you can, I'll guess, I think that weighs about 3 kilos, but we'll see. I'll put it on the scales. So I've just weighed the bag in the Heiberg bag, all the kit in the Heiberg bag, and it weighs 2.87 kilos. So I think once I've put in a few snacks, breakfast, bar, that kind of thing, it will probably be around about the 3 kilo mark. So I'm pretty happy with that. That's light enough, no problem at all. Right, so I'll go across to the iPad and go around the route and explain a bit about where I think I'm going to camp. Right. Okay, part 2. So we'll have a look at the route. So I'll be starting in my home village, Repton, which is in South Derbyshire. I'll be heading up, probably run to Willington, to the train station, where I'll jump on the train, which will take me into the centre of Derby, and then I'll walk or run from the train station to the start of the Cloud Trail, which is, for those people that know Derby, it starts just behind the council house and follows the river. So I'll follow the Cloud Trail all the way along the River Derwent. It then sort of leaves the river and sort of around the Pride Park football ground area, and then heads through Elveston. I think this is an old disused railway line, I'm not 100% certain. And then sort of around Shelton Lock, and there it crosses the A50. This is where we get into Swarkston, which is where I ran to the other day. And then it picks up the River Trent and follows the River Trent. In fact, yes. And then it crosses over and heads to Melbourne, and it gets to Kings Newton. This is where I'll sort of leave the Cloud Trail when we get down to Breedon. So this is kind of like my camping area. I think, looking at the map, this is somewhere that I'll do a stealth wild camp. I'll just, when I get there, I'll sort of see what the land's like, and I might do a recce. I might go and drive there and have a look, see if there's any locations. But in the centre of the map now, you can see where it says Breedon Hill. That's a piece of access land. Sort of just, I'll possibly camp just to the northwest of the church. But But failing that, then I'll pick up the cloud trail again. And this will either be the next day, or if I've found somewhere to camp, or if there's no suitable place, then I'll on day one I'll continue along, and then I'll find somewhere further down here around this sort of quarry area, be somewhere around here. So that is the end of the cloud trail in a place called Worthington. I think that is the end of the cloud trail, or the start of the cloud trail, whichever way you look at it. So all going well, this will be my the morning of day 2, and this is where I'll sort of head back home. So this is a series of footpaths. Around about here is where I kind of commonly walk to with the dog and things like that. So I know these paths pretty well. And this takes you up around Staunton Harold Reservoir. We've got Cork Abbey, so I run through Cork Abbey, and then up through in Ticknall, and then onto the National Forest Way, past Hangman Stones, through Foremark, through Milton, and back into Repton, back home. So I'll be calling this the Fastpack 40. Right, well, if I think of anything else, or anything else changes between now and when I do it, I'll upload another video, but otherwise I'll speak to you next when I'm making my way to the train station. Okay, bye for now.